good afternoon. It is 4:07 on Youth Talk 710 KURV. Thank you, Joe Salinas, for providing us with this great bumper music. Yes, I'm Roxanne Garcia, and Zach Henshu is joining us, filling in for Davis Rankin.
Hi, doodly-doo.
Oh, man, can we just take this in, please?
Wars, nothing but Star
You're gonna
Wars,
ruin
nothing
it.
but... That's what I do here.
Zach, please.
Have you not noticed this?
Please, let's just...
This is...
If you could see me right now, you guys, I am wearing a Darth Vader shirt with a cape, and I have on my Darth Vader headsets that have Darth Vader on the sides. I'm ready for tonight, and I'm going to watch the movie at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to stand in line for about 3-4 hours after the show is over. I am booking it to the far theater. So if you happen to stop by and you see a weird-looking girl with a Star Wars shirt or Darth Vader shirt with a cape, that is me, okay? Well, because Star Wars, it came out yesterday, but the release is today. We're going to be talking all things Star Wars, and we have a great show planned for y'all today. So
it's a spoiler-free show,
it is
too.
Spoiler-free show. And we will talk to Kevin Carr next hour about Star Wars.
And he better not spoil the movie.
He won't. And also, I think another movie came out, Alvin and the Chipmunks. But who's going to watch?
I mean, you want to talk about a bloodbath at the box office.
I don't know why they did that. Anyway, so we do have a great show planned for y'all, so we got to get to our first topic. Since Star Wars fans around the world have been waiting for this weekend to watch Star Wars Episode 7, like me, we thought about having a Star Wars theme on today's program. And with that said, I'm sure a lot of those, or you that have had Star Wars merchandise from years ago, are now wondering what is its value. So, for an example, a set of Star Wars figures bought for a few Canadian dollars 35 years ago, last Friday sold for $32,000.
Ooh.
So joining us on 710 KURV is Holly. She's a CPA and known as the Money Therapist. You can find her online at themoneytherapist.com. Thank you for joining us on today's program. Now, first question off the bat, Holly, how does that happen? How do you buy a figure for a few bucks, 35 years later, sell it for $32,000?
Yeah, it's interesting because things like collectibles are so... It's like buying a penny stock. You know, you have no idea what's going to happen with it. I'm sure that person, even though they kept it in the package, never thought that it would, be worth $32,000. And it's also 35 years later. Wow. And I actually did the rate of return on this. I kind of backed into it mathematically, which is a 28% annual return for the last 35 years. So wouldn't we wish we could all get a return on it?
Amazing.
Oh, but these things aren't like penny stocks, though. These things cost up to, potentially hundreds of dollars,
Thousands. Right? You know what, Holly?
Well, it's more of a metaphor. It's more of a metaphor because you never know when something like this could be worth something to someone else, because it's really about who's going to pay for it, right? Why does it have $35,000 or $32,000? $32,000 worth of value to the buyer. That's what's crazy. That's what you don't know.
Do you have like a formula or some sort of algorithm, some sort of way of calculating what I could buy now that would hit
that
10
jackpot?
10 times the value 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line?
I'm sorry to tell you, but as far as Star Wars goes, the reason that this was so valuable is because it was brand new at the time. It was the original. Yeah. So I personally don't think that anything you buy now for Star Wars, even though, of course, you should go out and buy fun stuff and get your Star Wars paraphernalia, but still, it's probably not going to be worth anything in 35 years. But even if you spent $100 on it, would you be upset if it wasn't worth anything later? Because it's really just for your own enjoyment.
Right. Even added to like a more complete collection, like all the way from the beginning, it wouldn't be adding that much value to the complete set, would it?
Well, that's an interesting question, because if you do have something from the original set and you had something from each episode, I could see that having a lot of value.
Really?
Because this is a very timeless series. It was one of its kind at the time. It was so different from anything else that was being done. And it was so cutting edge. Remember, the technology was not there that it is now when they make movies. So it was just very genius. But I would think a full set would be worth more to somebody, yeah.
Well, a full set of what, though? Because honestly, Holly, I've been really into building Legos lately, and I'm a little too old for building Legos. People are going to think I'm crazy, but recently I bought the Millennium Falcon. Okay, I'm sure we all know what that is if we're Star Wars fans.
Of course,
the one that was released this year was $150 at all retail stores. Well, I wanted the one that came out 5 years ago in 2010. Well, I bought that for $230. I mean, even though it's not that much of an increase, I mean, that person still made, a couple of bucks off of me.
That's crazy. Wow. Figurines are not what they used to be. They're not $5 anymore, right?
I never thought Lego sets could be that expensive. So Holly, she's a CPA and known as a money therapist, is joining us on 710 KURV. I guess the question is it worth it? I mean, what do you say to those that buy products and keep it in the box? Because Zach, for example, he believes that if you buy a toy, play with it. Don't keep it in the box.
It's a toy.
Well, you can buy two. You can buy one to play with and one to put in a box. I mean, to me, it's still a relatively small investment. If you really believe that something is really unique and going to be valuable later, and you can put it away, in a closet somewhere, buy two of them. I just think it's a crapshoot because a lot of collectibles and other types of collectibles, like Franklin Mints and stuff, have lost value to the buyer. It's collectibles in general really aren't a profitable way to make money. So I wouldn't look at it as a way to make money. I would just look at it like a crapshoot. Maybe this will be something big.
Some of the most valuable collectibles that I've ever heard of were the ones that people completely forgot that they even had, that they got it on accident. It was all a mistake. It was in their attic for 20, 25 years. They stumbled upon it during a garage sale, and lo and behold, it's worth $15,000.
Yeah, exactly. The certain types of antiques and comic books were like that for a while.
So how do you know, though? But how do you know? I know that we never really know, but I was reading an article, and you mentioned Beanie Babies, and that's true. When I was growing up, Beanie Babies were huge. I mean, even now I still have some that I got when I was a little girl, and I've always wondered, I wonder how much this one's worth. And at one point, if you had a special Beanie Baby, you could sell it for thousands of dollars, but now the hype isn't really there when it comes to Beanie Babies. So how do we know if it's going to die down or what, I guess,
well, I can tell you one thing that you'll know when it's not a good idea is that, for example, right now, this is all over the news. The person that saved that special thing back, the Luke Skywalker that sold for $25,000 the other day, they didn't know, there wasn't anything in the news about it. So right now it's too late. You know how they say, if it's in the news, it's too late?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't been the person that had that amazing forethought that this could happen. And probably that person did think that, wow, there's never been a movie made like this ever.
Yeah. And
it was so cutting edge again with all of the technology that did not exist then. So that person had a lot of forethought. So to answer your question, that's when if you're going to have a chance of something greatly appreciated, that means nobody else probably thinks it's going to right now.
So,
or else everybody would do it, and then everybody would have it, and then no one would buy it.
So pretty much, I was thinking, hey, if I buy this Lego set this year, in 5 years, they can sell it for $200 more. Point is, I shouldn't do it. So you're right, Holly. This is why we talk to you, a professional, so you can guide us to not buy expensive Lego sets.
Right, exactly. But you can still buy a toy after the movie tonight. You should.
Oh.
Some kind of figurine or something from Star Wars, right?
Are you going to watch it?
Absolutely, yeah. Today's my husband's birthday, so we're not going today, but we're definitely going to go this week. He doesn't like to go on the opening weekends because it's so chaotic.
Yeah.
But, so he kind of won on that one.
Let me ask your expertise on a certain item that I found. I was out shopping a few weeks ago, and I found what I thought was a really rare and valuable item. There was this little Darth Vader figurine that I found, and some man at a table was selling it, and there was something special about it. It was white. It was like an albino Darth Vader, and he said that this was a rare, one-of-a-kind, special edition. Only one of them exists. And it was made in Mexico, so I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe it was like a different manufacturer or something. So how valuable do you think that this could possibly be?
I would say no value because Darth Vader is black. So that's it.
But it's albino. It's special edition, right? Like
it could be a stormtrooper.
Alternate universe Star Wars, right? Yeah, well, he was also trying to. He was also trying to sell me episode 7 and 8 on DVD at the table. So I don't know. The guy seemed kind of shady.
Yeah, he was waiting for a sucker for sure. You didn't fall for it, did you?
But in all seriousness, though, how do you know if you would have a counterfeit compared to some of the legitimate licensed merchandise that's out there?
That's a great question too, because like with footballs, they've lost from athletes. They've lost value too, unless they have an authentication form with them to show that it's not like a fraudulent signature. So same thing. There's got to be. That's why if they're in the real original package, that helps as well. But there should be some kind of authentication on the. Well, it's just like a fake purse. You know, if you buy a fake purse, it's not going to have the authentic tag inside.
How do certificates of authenticity work? Can't you just counterfeit those?
That's a good question too, because it was the same with the purse, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about purses.
At
least not that I'm willing to admit in public.
Out there, you know.
Oh my word, Holly, we're almost out of time. So before we go, is there anything that we didn't ask you that we should have, or that we should know?
No, I think it's just collectibles. It's not very often that they increase in value like that. So I think it's something special to you, or you feel like it could be special, then you should keep it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that in terms of an investment where you're going to make money on it, that you probably shouldn't. It's going to take a long time. It's like buying a piece of land and sitting on it for 20 or 30 years, and I've known a lot of people that did that. But you got to be very, very patient and kind of forget about it.
Man, we never know, do we?
And
anyway,
one day you find gold and oil on the property.
The day you sell it.
The day you sell it, yeah.
Anyway, Holly, thank you so much for joining us. Holly, she's known as The Money Therapist. She's an author, and you can find her at themoneytherapist.com. Thank you so much for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV.